Hey everybody, Professor Robbins here to talk to you a little bit about logic, truth, and a little bit about Aristotle. So, I do want to point out that when you read this chapter on logic, you are being introduced a very classical way to talk about logic. Um, in contemporary society, most people aren't going to look at logic quite the same way as Aristotle did. But a couple of interesting things about Aristotle. There's a lot we could say. He has a huge legacy in philosophy. He's actually known to be simply called the philosopher because he wrote in so many areas across so many disciplines. He was a kind of student of Plato. He did work with Plato a little bit. His teacher was one of Plato's students. And a lot of people see Aristotle and Plato as complete opposites. I don't think they were. Remember in our discussion of Plato, we talked about Plato's kind of idealism and the two realms, and how my hands are kind of a lesser version of the ideal hands in another realm that exists somewhere, right? Um, Aristotle was more, you could probably relate to Aristotle more because he worked a lot more from his own observations and what made sense to him. So instead of thinking from the perspective of an idealist, so he's thinking more like as a rationalist or an empiricist. He actually looks at this table and he doesn't think, oh, there's some version of a table out there that's perfect. He does see this table, though, like Plato, as kind of at the bottom of the food chain. And then he sees different layers of, you think like a pyramid, he will see different layers of species that work their way towards godliness. So humans would be near the top, and we would have angels above us, and then we have some version of God. And he's not going to believe in angels per se, but he is metaphysical. He does believe in a higher realm. He's assuming that there's something metaphysical above our reality. And that's kind of built into his pyramid. Now, that is highly problematic. It has set us up in history for some problems in race theories and species and things like that. But what you do need to know is that Aristotle was profoundly type A and he loved to categorize things. So he wanted everything to be categorized and identified clearly. He also was huge in ethics. He set the stage for talking about ethics. He was probably one of the first philosophers to do so. And he held friendship in very, very, very high regard. That's kind of the ultimate model of how humans should interact. And he believed human action was very important. So that's a little bit about Aristotle. Now thinking just about logic, the kind of the more focus of the chapter, deduction, induction. Although it's important from a historical sense, I did want to play you a quick clip from this philosopher theologian, J.C. Beale, that I kind of enjoy. I'm not going to play all of it, but I have attached it to the bottom of your assignment. Note that I have asked you to pick from some of the supplemental material to engage with for your post in the community. And I really want you to stick to picking something that you're really interested in. Sorry if you heard my cat hissing at my dog. I really want you to focus on things that you're really interested in. So I've included some scientific stuff, some architecture stuff, and some other things for you to choose from. Try and pick something that you're maybe the most interested in. I also included a TED Talk video that talks about logic and its use today. It talks a lot about fallacy and logic and how it's used in today's political society. So that might be interesting to some of you. But again, I'm going to go back to this clip. Sorry, I think it's on this side. If you're in pastoral leadership or worship arts or anything like that, this would be like the theological thing that you might want to look at. But this, I think, is worth showing everybody. So I'll go ahead and play it here.
The world is bigger than you think. Reality is surprising. We should lighten up. we should dial down our full on universal commitment to that account of logic, and we should instead have a rigorous but slightly weaker logic that allows for radical, bizarre phenomena in reality. I love working with graduate students. I have a role to play in trying to help them not only achieve excellent work, but understand the profession of academic philosophy. Notre Dame is filled with extraordinarily intellectually curious philosophers. They want to hear new ideas. They want to push the limits. So you can bring up very strange things. And as long as you are precise and clear and you present arguments for it, the philosophers here are just going to welcome it. And they'll probably object fiercely and say why it's wrong, but they're still going to welcome it. They're not going to dismiss it.
All right, so that was just a quick clip, and the focus of the clip that I wanted to share with you that I really loved is we need to lighten up. That classical version of logic and ultimate truth is maybe not what we're looking for in today's world. So I just wanted to present that reminder as you're reading about Aristotle, you're digging into some of these key words, and then you're choosing something that might interest you in this area, this topic in the world. So I'm interested to hear what you have to say in your post. Just a reminder to do post in the community and make sure you interact with at least one other person's post. So have a great week and good luck with your research into logic.